time for This Week in Clarksville. And now, here's your host, Stephanie Miller.
Welcome to This Week in Clarksville on this Thursday, October 20th. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. October is known for fall festivities and, of course, Halloween, but it is also the most popular month to get married, with September and June following. In fact, earlier this year, Forbes put out that 2022 would see the most weddings since 1984. So today, we are talking a lot about wedding season. We're sitting down with the owner of Wedding Bells that is located in downtown Clarksville on Franklin. She is going to share with us when brides should start planning, what they need to keep in mind, and then some savvy ways to save money. She is also going to tell us why the building that she is in now holds a very special place in her heart. Then a little bit later, we are going to learn how to make decorative floral walls from a local woman. She has some great tips for us today. And then we are heading over to Delectable Sweets to learn what makes their sweet treat so special. But first, we will hear from our sports reporter, Brady McAtamney, to get all of your sports highlights. And before that, right now, let's check in with reporter Sherry Reeves to see what's making the wrap in this week's edition of Main Street Clarksville.
This is the wrap for the October 20th edition of Main Street Clarksville. This week, we'll take a walk through Greenwood Cemetery for a historic tour offered each year by the Customs House Museum. Each Saturday in October, the tour focuses on grave sites and monuments like the tall one in honor of the late Tennessee Governor Austin Peay. There's the grave of Frank Sutton, who played Sergeant Carter on Gomer Pyle, and the burial place for our little Nanny Tyler, who died at age 4 in 1885. Read why her gravesite is one of the most visited at Greenwood Cemetery. On Tuesday, the Clarksville-Montgomery County Board of Education denied a request by the Parks and Rec Department to allow the United States Tennis Association to help build an 18-court tennis complex in Sango. In the same meeting, the board approved $1.5 million in design fees for Kirkwood Elementary School that will be built on Rossview Road. In county and city news, we find out why the county commission said no to 2 proposed rezonings, and we give a closer look to a city rezoning application that could result in 326 apartments called the Highlands on the corner of Warfield Boulevard and Rossview Road. And that's the wrap for this week. Sherry Reeves, Main Street, Clarksville.
Sherry, thank you. We always love to see what's making the wrap. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're sitting down with the owner of Wedding Bells, and she has some valuable information for anyone planning a wedding. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm John, one of the family owners here at the City Forum. Some people think I'm great at the games and attractions here, but I'm not. I'm fantastic. Your mom might want to pick that up. Go low with 18 holes in mini golf. Channel your inner Ricky Bobby on the go-kart track. Play in Clarksville's only 7D motion theater. 10 lanes of family fun bowling. Don't forget about our big birthday party rooms. So come on out to the City Forum and try to beat some of my high scores.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Welcome to This Week in Clarksville. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. I'm so excited because we are talking wedding season today, because you have popular wedding seasons in April through May, and then another season would be September through October. We are in October right now. Weddings happening. Yes. I am with a really cool, wonderful person today, Lisa Forrest. She's the owner of Wedding Bells in downtown Clarksville. Lisa, thank you so much for this.
Well, thank you for interviewing me, because I love to talk about weddings.
And I love talking about weddings this time of year as well. Again, I was an October bride 3 years ago, getting just celebrated an anniversary, our third year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just remember the excitement, and I want to say, not any disappointment as I was looking for dresses, but it is a really hard time when it comes to
it is hard.
Brides looking at dresses. You're trying to find that perfect one. I had many challenges. I'm sure you see that. What would you say to brides right now looking or starting that wedding dress shopping experience?
The first thing I would say is start at least a year out.
Oh, wow.
A special order gown used to say 6 to 8 months was a good time frame. Mm-hmm. Now it's becoming more like 7 to 9 months with all the shipping delays. And if you think about everything we've been through with COVID and the backups at the ports and all the different things, they are taking a little bit longer to come in. And then a lot of the designers have stocked up in their U.S. warehouses, so you may come in and the one you fall in love with is in stock in the U.S. and it may come in 2 months. But then if it has to be done from the factory, as they have in the past, it can be up to 8 or 9. So everybody's fine with that in the beginning, and then as time gets closer, and it's getting closer, and and you knew it wasn't going to come in, right, and you didn't think you were going to be worried, then you get really, really worried, and understandably.
And Lisa, you've had quite a bit of experience, so this is something she's seen time and time again. How many years have you been in this industry, this business?
In selling wedding gowns, 10 years almost.
10 years.
Yes, we've been in business. It'll be 10 years next July, so a little bit over 9. But we started the process of opening the business and doing the research and all that stuff. It's been about 10 years ago we got started with the idea.
So the idea 10 years ago, again, now Wedding Bells here in downtown Clarksville. Your shop was at another spot before this. It was at a corner of where?
University and Madison Street, and a little small house, a little 1,200 square foot house, and we had very limited stock because we didn't have much room, but we had so many wonderful brides. And we started out with maybe 20 wedding gowns and 10 prom gowns, and here we are now in a 5,000 square foot building, and we've got over 300 wedding dresses, and we've worked with so many wonderful brides. I mean, we sell hundreds of dresses a year, and it's just so wonderful to meet each and every one of them. We just love each and every one of them so much.
Oh, and I get that feeling, like as you're talking, I'm like, oh, I love that so much. When I was searching for someone to talk about weddings, I talked with a few individuals here in Clarksville, Montgomery County, and I was like, I'm looking for either a wedding shop owner, and I don't know why, I've passed by the shop many times, but just really didn't pay attention.
Sure.
Because I wasn't looking for it at the time.
That's right.
And I'm like, I need a wedding planner. I want to talk to this type of person. And several people said, reach out to Wedding Bells and talk to Lisa. So that's why we are here today, because again, wedding season. I want to give you some information, or if you know someone getting married, if you're getting married, again, someone you know, if it's not yourself, just maybe some things to keep in mind. What is the best piece of advice that you would give to a bride?
Do not have a vision that is unchangeable, because no matter what, on that day there's going to be some tiny something that's not going to be exactly like you expected. The centerpiece may not have the exact amount of flowers you thought it would have, or some wedding favors may get put in a spot where they might not should have been. No one's going to know that but you.
True.
Nothing that happens is going to be noticeable to anyone but you, because they're seeing the beauty of the whole event come together. Yeah. They have no idea what your preconceived notion was, so don't stress the small stuff.
I love that. Don't stress the small stuff. That's spectacular. I really like that right there.
If you have your venue, you have your fiance, you have your gown, you have your food and your friends and family, that's all you really need.
Amen to that. That is so true. For brides coming in, they start looking for dresses. I know, again, one of the first dresses I think it was the very first one. I was like, I love this.
Yes.
This is it.
Yes.
What do you say to the bride that says those words?
You still need to try on others, and that may be it, because a lot of times people are shocked. They'll try on 5 or 6 more, and they just keep going back to the first one. And a lot of the reason I think that is because you're going to say, when we get in the dressing room, okay, we've got 4 or 5 in here. Which one would you like to try first? That one. And maybe you say that one because that's really your favorite, and you try it on and it really looks good. It really fits you. It really is a good choice for you. So then you go on to others and you're a little bit comparing it to the first one, and then you try on more and you still keep comparing it to the first one. And we just try to keep going because we like for you to try on one of every style because you don't really know what you're going to look. And sometimes brides are just so taken aback when they say, oh, I could never wear a fitted dress. And we put it on and they just look stunning. Or they say, oh, I could never wear a ball gown. And we put it on and they just look beautiful. And they had no idea that's what they were looking for. So, but if a dress haunts you, then a lot of times we'll go back, and sometimes it is the first one, and we'll try it back on again, and then the tears start, and it's the one.
Then let's talk about the flip side. So they find that one, they point at it, they say, I love this, and they put it on, and it's, say, not the one. And you have that disappointing moment of, oh,
you do. But then we just quickly put you into another style, another color, another, and styles are so different. You can have a drop waist ball gown that's very fitted all the way almost down to the hips and flares out from there. Then you can have like the princess ball gown that's really poofy from the waist. So just because you didn't like something about that dress, we may have something very similar to the look you want, or maybe you don't like the V-neck. Maybe you wanted a sweetheart, or maybe you wanted a drop shoulder. There's many different styles. And you may love the lace on one, but really wish it had the top of another one. And we can find you something very similar.
Oh, that's fantastic. So again, you have a variety of dresses here. Do you still encourage maybe brides to look at other shops? I know that's probably
always. If you are not comfortable with what you're buying, feel free to go look. I mean, we're not commission based, and I don't want to ever be commission based because I want everybody to feel like we're going to be fine with them going somewhere else. If that dress is meant to be for them, they'll come back. And we have that happen a lot.
Do you really?
Yes. And we have people that we encourage to go try another store, and then they'll call us back and say, well, I found my gown somewhere else. And we're like, congratulations. There are enough brides for everyone to share. And we should all work together and just be happy that the bride has found her gown, because they can always come back to me and I can do the planning. I do the planning, I do the coordination. They can just come back to me and I can do the rest.
Well, that's a great segue, because I want to talk about planning. Do you advise maybe future brides to use a planner or consult with one?
I would always recommend them to at least talk to someone who knows what they're doing. You may have the best DIY abilities in the world, but if you don't have time to execute these great ideas, and a planner can really give you like some expertise on, okay, if you're going to make your centerpieces, maybe you don't want to use fresh flowers or whatever, so you can do them ahead of time and store them. Just things that you might not think about. There's always things that brides don't think about. And so I have a checklist when I sit down with someone and I say, okay, have you thought about this? No. Have you thought about this? No. Have you thought about it? And there's just many things like who's going to play the music for the ceremony, or who's going to, you've got a DJ, but did you get someone to play the music? You have a caterer, but are they going to stay and serve the food? Are they going to drop it off on the counter and leave? Is someone going to have to put it out for you? Are they bringing silverware and plateware for you? I mean, there's just questions that you need to ask when you look for a venue. Are they going to provide the chairs and tables and cloths? Are they going to set them out? I mean, there's many questions, and they just look at me and they're like, well, I didn't ask. So that's what my job is to help make sure that they think of everything.
Let's talk budgets. I'm sure you've seen brides and families with just a range of budgets.
Everything from $5,000 to $45,000.
Holy.
Are the weddings that I personally have done.
Okay.
So every gamut. And you can make it work just about on any budget. You can have a backyard wedding at your home or at your apartment complex.
And they're beautiful.
Oh yes, oh my goodness, gorgeous. That you can do for $5,000. If you have a lot of help, the average wedding they say now costs about $20,000. That's amazing to me. That is a lot of money. But I recommend don't cut on the photographer.
No.
Because those pictures you will treasure for years to come.
Before I ask you the final question in reference to weddings, what would you say for either bride or groom, their support systems as they go through the wedding process? Because you have a lot of different personalities.
You do. And I would say for brides, be very careful who you take with you to your bridal appointment.
Okay.
Because sometimes the more is not the merrier. And sometimes if you have differing opinions, like mom wants you in one, always you have mom. I mean, that's just pretty much always. But, maybe mom wants you in one thing and grandma wants you in something else, and your three best friends are there and they know you. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you have the best friends that one's a little bit jealous maybe because you're getting married and they're not, and then they're not as supportive, or well, that's just not you. And we're like, well, why isn't it her? Well, it's just not, So just be very careful that you bring positive, encouraging, love-affirming people with you to your appointment to try on your gown. Because that is the most intimate thing you're going to do in planning your wedding, because you're going to be just seeing yourself for the first time as a bride. Mm-hmm. And it's an emotional thing. So if you've got negative Nellie there kind of distracting you and making you feel not so good about yourself, the most wonderful thing is when you've got, and grandmothers are this way, I love it, you look beautiful in it, no matter what it is. But it's not a lot of help sometimes because maybe that's not the best dress for, but they just love you. So, it's a good, honest support system. So choose wisely in who you take to your gown fitting, because that can make a real difference in the way it goes.
Okay, good to know. Anything in reference to weddings that I haven't asked you that you feel is important for people to hear, whether it's this wedding season or the next?
I would say just make sure that this is the beginning of your life with your new partner. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you don't let the wedding become more important than the love. Because you want this to be stress-free, and it's not going to be, no matter what you do. Mm-hmm. So even in the stress, choose to love that partner. Okay. And don't let anything cause you to doubt that because maybe they snapped at you or didn't like your idea about, the floral art or whatever that is. Mm-hmm. Just choose love and the love of the partner you are marrying, and your wedding is all set.
Oh, so true. Just choose love.
Just choose love.
I love that. Lisa also shares that some brides are opting out of that full formal reception dinner and instead just offering cake and ice cream and then hosting an after party. She says that's a great way to save money as well. Stick with us. When we come back, we're going to hear how Lisa moved from a small house to a pretty good sized building in downtown Clarksville and just how special this building is to her and her family. Stick with us.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
If you're looking to buy a home under $500,000, check out this 3,000 square foot home in Savannah Chase with all brick and an open floor plan. This kitchen features gorgeous granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. And who doesn't love extra storage? I'm Journey Louie with the Journey Louie team at Clarksville.com Realty. If you're interested in your own personal tour of this property, contact me today.
I just love your living room set. Do you mind if I ask where you got it?
You're not going to believe this, but Rooms for Less.
No way. I thought with the whole less thing.
No, not at all. The whole less is really more quality, more name brand, more selection.
Excuse me, one moment. Rooms for Less? Yes, I'm calling about a living room set. Great, I'm on my way.
So as much as I love sharing information and anything that will help someone else out, I also love to share stories. kind of share the background to Wedding Bells and your history with this particular spot on Franklin.
Well, I had wanted to have a store all my life. That's all I've ever really wanted to do. I've done weddings for over 20 years probably, but I'd always wanted a store. So after the kids got grown and we could do this, we opened the store, the little small store, and then we moved here. And so we moved down to the store downtown, and this used to be a department store that in the late 60s I shopped as a 6 or 7 year old girl with my mom, and she would come into this department store and try on clothes, and the sales clerks would set me in a chair beside the dressing rooms while she was in there just trying on stuff, and they'd give me peppermints or a lollipop, and they'd have their pencil skirts on and their high heels, and I'd think, I'm gonna be a sales clerk like you someday. And I just loved this store. And then we were looking for a larger place, and the owner found us and said, I would like to put a wedding store in this building. And I was just, it's like God just sent her to me. It's just the sweetest thing. And I had no idea that this was even available, or I would have already come to her.
Right.
But she just found me and said, I really want to put a wedding store in. Are you interested? And I'm like, oh my goodness, yes.
Of course I am.
Yes. So we moved in, and it's just so neat to be here. In fact, my daughter was married up here in this little area where we're sitting by my son, who is a pastor, in the very store that I shopped with her grandmother that they both love so much. So it's just a very sweet and special place to me. My heart is in this building.
I would say that it is. And what you're seeing here, so this is a picture of the third level of the store, and then a picture of the wedding that did take place here. That is so special too, Lisa. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
it was great.
I bet it is. And I'm assuming you just look forward to helping each and every bride that you can.
Oh, I do. They are all so different, and they all have such different needs and such different body images and such different visions of what they want. And so every day is like something new. Every hour is like something new. Every new appointment brings a new opportunity to meet someone fun and in love, and to hear their story and how they met and see their ring, and just to hear, I'm in a happy business. You are. I got the best job in the world. There's just nothing like what I do.
How often does a bride come back and be like, let me share this with you, let me show you this?
Oh, a lot.
I'm sure.
Oh, we have a lot. In fact, I had a call last month, it was about 3 months ago, from a bride whose wedding I did 4 or 5 years ago, and she said, my cousin just moved to town. She's getting married. She needs a dress. She needs a planner. She needs you. And I'm like, okay. So she brought her in. We got her dressed. We got her married in her backyard in about 3 months. And
oh my gosh.
It was all done and beautiful. And I have a lot of brides that I'm still friends with that, they're like my children. And you have brides that do have concerns and that just, it weighs on my heart. So I just try to, anyone who's not pleased with their service or anything, I try so hard to just make it right in whatever way I can. And generally, to sell hundreds of dresses a year, we do a pretty good job of loving everybody.
I would say that you do.
We try.
Lisa, this has been such a pleasure, such a treat. I hope some of this information helps you out there if you are either a bride-to-be, you have someone in your circle, in your realm that's getting married. I hope this helps a little bit. And if you'd like, you can always reach out to Lisa
Absolutely.
Forrest here at Wedding Bells,
Absolutely.
downtown Clarksville on Franklin. Again, always a beautiful, thing to share information and stories, and I appreciate your story so
thank
much.
you.
This has been great.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We have more of This Week in Clarksville coming up. But as we move forward, what you see or what you're going to see, pictures of some fall brides that have been helped out.
At Miss Lucille's, we go for apple pie. A place that feels like a home away from home. A comfortable place to bring your family from out of town. It's a place where great conversations are had. It's a place where you can shop 200 small businesses in one location. It's a place for you to shop for gifts for any occasion or just to treat yourself. Come on down to Miss Lucille's. You'll be glad you did.
I just love your living room set. Do you mind if I ask where you got it?
You're not gonna believe this, but rooms for less.
No way. I thought with the whole less thing,
No, not at all. The whole less is really more. More quality, more name brand, more selection.
Excuse me, one moment. Rooms for less? Yes. I'm calling about a living room set? Great, I'm on my way.
I'm Journey Louie, lead agent with the Journey Louie team at Clarksville.com Realty. Not every client needs the same approach. No matter what you need, my specially curated team and I devise a creative strategy to get you exactly what you want. I don't have to tell you that this market is unpredictable, but the key is to have a local, experienced real estate agent to help you make an informed financial decision.
Welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. I am with sports reporter Brady McAtamney. It is time for our Sports Minute. You know, it was a slower week this week. What do you have for us?
It was. So every high school team in the area got a well-deserved bye week before they continue that stretch run. But we're here at Austin Peay's Forterra Stadium, and there was football here on Saturday. Austin Peay played arch rival Murray State from up in Murray, Kentucky, and they beat them 52-17. Sixth straight year beating Murray State. This is a rivalry that they're not in the same conference anymore, but they're very interested in continuing this rivalry, and that's the plan. As we also had a story on that and how they plan to continue this rivalry really across as many sports as they could possibly get it. We also had some soccer action as both Clarksville High and Rossview moved on to the region championship, which will be taking place this Thursday. Clarksville High beat Northwest, Rossview beat Henry County, so very exciting stuff there. We also had volleyball season in the area come to an end as Clarksville High was the last team standing and lost in their region championship.
Bummer. Awesome. Well, if you want to follow all of Brady's stories, you can catch his stories and reports in Main Street, Clarksville. So make sure that you're checking out the paper for all of that. Anything else that we need to be on the lookout for as we move forward?
Well, we got the last 2 weeks of high school regular season coming up for football. Should be a really fun stretch run as a lot of teams are looking to get in the playoffs.
Fantastic. Cannot wait to check back in with you next week, Brady. As always, thank you so much. Stick with us. We have more coming up right here on This Week in Clarksville after this.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
Give it up. Where'd you get it?
Rooms for less.
Get out! You gotta be kidding me!
Have you ever noticed that the guys' voices get really high when they get excited?
I haven't really noticed that before.
Oh yeah, you should see their selections of sofas and recliners. I mean, oh my gosh, I about lost my mind. I should take you there sometime. I mean, there's more stuff that I want to get. I can't believe you got all this from Rooms for Less.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
I'm with Amanda Wilson. Thank you so much for giving me your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And we are talking about floral decor because a lot of people like to do things on their own, kind of do-it-yourselfers. Amanda, you've been doing like the floral walls and wreaths for, you said, 10 years?
Around that, yeah. Just for family and friends.
That's awesome. What goes into doing so? For those watching this, if you're looking or you want to do some sort of floral decor for a party or wedding, where do they get started? What do they need?
I guess deciding what they're going to do. So if they're looking at a backdrop, getting a stand, getting the pieces that kind of go together to make your base, and then deciding what you're going to put on top of it. So different picks or acrylics or lights or anything like that.
Where do you get your ideas?
I just kind of come up with them. Sometimes like Pinterest, if people have kind of an idea in mind, they'll send that, and then I just go off of that and find something similar, not exact. I always try not to copy, but just to kind of get the general idea of what they want to do and then build off of it.
Super
make it better.
That's super cool. So what do we have right here, and what goes with what, and how does it work pieced together?
So there's a couple options in here. These guys are if you want to do like a boxwood wall.
Okay.
On the back of them, they're like a grid. So you take these little zip ties and then you will just kind of connect them.
Okay.
And then this whole thing, once you piece it together to whatever size you want it to be, you'll put it up on that stand, and that's kind of your base.
Okay.
So we have that. There's also, these have been really popular lately, which are the floral panels.
Oh, nice.
And you can piece these all together, again, the same way. They have the grid on the back.
Okay.
And you just zip tie them together. That's kind of like what we did at handbags. We had a wall donated to us, and I decorated it. But this has been really, really popular to do like a floral backdrop and then build on it.
And that's super pretty. What does this typically run you? So say you're doing a floral design for a decent wall. What does it cost?
If you're buying it yourself, usually a good stand is from like $75 to $100. The back panels, depends how big you go.
Okay.
For about 2 of the flower panels, if you just buy them yourself off Amazon, you're probably going to spend like $20-$30 just for the 2. You're going to need several to build the wall, so it might get expensive fast. Same with the boxwood. You usually get a little bit more, but you can see they're much smaller.
Right.
So usually like a 10 by 10 of that is probably around the same, like 30, 40 in that range.
Okay.
For 10 of these guys, and then you'll need a few of those to kind of piece together a wall.
So not that at all though, because Amanda, I would assume that you can use these again and again. So really, I would think getting your money's worth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And where are all the places that you go to find the decor items that you need?
Hobby Lobby, Michael's, I mean, Walmart has floral pretty much anywhere you can find it for a good price. The ones that kind of come bunched up together like this, or like the bigger flowers like this one, which are really nice for like taking up a lot of space if you're going to bunch flowers together. But like these guys that you break apart, they are going to be more expensive, and the bigger ones are going to be more expensive. They have smaller filler ones that'll be kind of like this that are a little bit less, but if you can find a good deal somewhere, a lot of coupons, it definitely helps.
I would say so. And say again, I know you do this on do it yourself. How long does it normally take you to piece together a wall?
Well, for handbags, that one took me I think 5 hours, kind of start to finish. But we also had a friend of mine do a balloon arch, which was really great.
Oh, nice.
And we were placing furniture and things in front of it. The flowers themselves probably took up like 3 to 4 of that.
Okay.
And then we hung like an acrylic sign in front of it that we had customized for the event. And that took a little bit, that was a little bit of trial and error.
Right.
The first plan didn't work out, but we got it to work.
Well, again, and if the first one doesn't work out, try again. And again, you're seeing the pictures that Amanda, of Amanda's work, what she put together, again, doing it herself. So it is possible. I remember when I got married, it was a lot of just kind of do-it-yourself sort of items at my wedding, and I thought it turned out beautifully.
Yeah.
I know a lot of women out there doing the same thing, and a lot of people hosting parties choose to either get a group together and do it on their own. So it is possible. The work that Amanda's done, you can do it too. Amanda, if someone would like to reach out to you and maybe say, hey, I need some help, or can you give me some tips? Can they do that?
Yeah.
Where would they be able to connect with you?
I'm actually starting a small business based off of this, so they can find us on Facebook and Instagram, but it's Bramble Design and Event Co. And so they can message on there if they have questions. They don't have to want to use anything on our side. I'm happy to give advice. If they are trying to do something for a big event, like a wedding, they definitely want to do it in advance and then have somebody available to set it up, because it never goes as planned. Ever.
No, it doesn't.
Never ever. And that's kind of how I've done events in the past, is kind of putting it all together in large pieces and then being able to assemble it quickly at the event. It definitely it's the way to do it.
Awesome. You see Amanda's contact information right there. Reach out to her if you need to get a tip, or if you want to ask her a question, do that, or if you want to hire her to help you out with either a wedding or an event. Amanda, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Stick with us right here. We have more coming up on This Week in Clarksville after the break.
Guess what? The real estate market is changing, creating opportunities for home buyers.
We still have a housing shortage. With interest rates rising, homes aren't selling as quickly, which is allowing inventory to grow.
So if you've been out there before or struggled to find a home that meets your needs, it's time to breathe a welcome sigh of relief.
In today's market, you'll have more options and less competition. Data shows that multiple offer situations are still happening, they're just not as intense as they have been in the past years.
So if you're still looking to make a move, it might be time to pick your home search back up today.
So, I just heard you talking to Jane about your gorgeous living room.
She was just asking me if it came from
Rooms for less, is that true? I mean, I always thought with the whole less thing.
Not at all. I mean, the whole less thing's actually more. You get more quality, more name brands, more selection.
Oh, but what about the table? I mean, there's no way.
Rooms for less.
Is this rooms for less? What time do you guys close? Yes!
It's a spot many know here in Clarksville. It is a place where everyone can go to get a sweet treat, and I'm talking about Delectable Sweets. I'm sitting here with the owner of Delectable Sweets, Heather Fassett. First off, Heather, thank you so much for sitting down with me. You are extremely busy all the time. We've been talking in the in-between, and she bakes a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Well, tell me about your store, because again, a lot of people know your store, but you've kind of transitioned out of that more or less into a food truck.
Yeah, absolutely. So with things kind of slowing down on the storefront, we decided we wanted to kind of go a different route, and we wanted to get a food trailer out there. Our reach is much greater with a food trailer. We can go to other cities, we go to other states, we go to Kentucky. We're licensed for business in both Hopkinsville and Cadiz so far in Kentucky, as well as here in Clarksville. And it allows us to bring food to festivals that you don't normally find there. So normally if you're diabetic or celiac and you go to a festival and you see food trailers, you're lucky if you can find anything to eat. Or if you're low carb, if you're keto dieter, it can be hard as well. And so all the products that we make, we're a completely gluten-free facility. We don't use sugar, we don't use dyes, preservatives, nitrates, hormones, so that it's a clean enough line of product where cancer patients can indulge as well.
That's absolutely amazing. And you see the food, like you're seeing video or close-up of what's sitting here in front of me. It looks amazing. It smells amazing. I can't wait to taste it. But you know, as we're talking about going to the food truck about the pandemic, like other small business owners, you have struggled to keep the business going.
Absolutely, absolutely. There was times where it felt like it was just kind of one hit after another. Within our first 6 months open, we were broken into. We had our front door smashed out and all of our electronics stolen. And we've actually had somebody this year that tried to break in through the back as well. And so we have those little things, as well as, you know, the difficulties with trying to get a hold of supplies during the pandemic. I had a major injury for a while. It was a C5, C6 injury with bursitis, frozen shoulder, and shoulder impingement syndrome all at the same time, and I'm the only baker. So my husband at the time was active duty military, and he cashed in all of his leave to come and be my left arm so that we could continue to grow our business. And there's just been so many things along the way that have felt like roadblocks or barriers, and it's like, well, maybe that's just not what it's meant to be. Maybe it's meant to be something different, take a little bit different path. And so far, the food trailer has done phenomenally well.
And that's because you provide something to those who cannot typically have a dessert, like you were saying, those
Absolutely.
who are either gluten-free, they're doing keto, or they have some sort of dietary restriction that eliminates sweet foods, you know, from their diet.
Right.
What are you hearing from your customers? Like, as you continue to navigate, what do you hear from them? And I'm asking this because this is what's keeping you going.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our regulars are fantastic. They follow us with our food trailer wherever we go. And for them, it provides a sense of normalcy to their life, because a lot of times if you do have special dietary restrictions or you have something like diabetes, you have to prepare all of your own food in order to make sure that you're consuming things that aren't going to make it worse. And so for them, it's like they can stop by here and they can grab breakfast items or dinner items or even just dessert. And it's something they don't have to prepare, but they know it's safe for them and they love it.
And here's a look at the food truck. So if you see the Delectable Sweets food truck out, this is what it looks like. I ran into them a few weeks ago at Old Glory. And so this is just a setup that they have. And again, people stopping by to grab a treat there. What do we have here in front of us today?
So this is one of our most popular savory menu items. This is our carne asada and queso roll. And so what that is we make doughs, but unlike most pizza type doughs that people will make, ours doesn't contain gluten. So our main ingredient is actually going to be mozzarella cheese. It makes it higher fat, higher protein. So it's going to keep you full longer. And then the meat that is in there, we slow cook that carne asada meat with freshly packed California spices. We have them shipped in bi-weekly from California. And then it has fresh chopped peppers and onions, and we enhance the meat with MCT oil so that you're making sure to get some of your healthy fats in there. And then we roll it all up with some shredded queso cheese inside. And so when you bake that, it doesn't look anything like, diet or healthy food, and it's absolutely delicious. And one of those is a full meal. By the time you finish it, because of all that protein in there, you're stuffed.
That's amazing. I'm going to try this. And we were talking before we started the interview, and I was saying I tried to make a keto-friendly dish for a friend of mine, and it did not turn out so good.
It's definitely it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of trial and error. I've spent thousands of dollars refining different recipes or trying recipes only to find out that they were just way off base as far as what was needed to make them the right texture. Usually it's a textural thing, especially with gluten-free baking.
Mm-hmm. Normally I take one bite and then I'm just like, I'll wait and do it when the camera's off. But this is amazing.
Isn't that great? So much flavor.
I mean, you can taste the cheese, you can taste the meat, you can taste the peppers. That's wonderful. That is just savory. Savory is the best way I can use to describe that. What are the two sweet dishes that we have?
So one of our most popular cakes that we make, and we now offer it in probably about 16 different flavors, is our ooey gooey butter cakes. Okay. And so these are very similar to like a cheesecake square. The main difference is ooey gooey butter cake actually has more butter in it than cream cheese, whereas a cheesecake has more cream cheese in it. And then we also use Vitamin Shop whey protein powder in the crust on these, so that it's a dessert that will stick with you. So it's one of those desserts where not only do you not get the sugar crash afterwards, but you're not hungry again in an hour because you've got the protein in there. And then, like always, these desserts are sweetened with monk fruit, because besides having a zero glycemic impact, monk fruit's actually an anti-inflammatory, so it has health benefits.
That's amazing. And then the last treat
that's going to be our pumpkin pie ooey gooey cake, and for the season that is definitely our best selling.
I can also imagine the time that you've put in to research all of these ingredients to make sure that every dish is just right.
Absolutely. A supply shopping trip for a lot of people is just quick, grab stuff off the shelf, throw it in the cart. I actually have to stop and read every label. I have to stop and make sure that it is all gluten-free ingredients, because a lot of times you may not realize just how many ingredients contain gluten or even have added sugars until you take the time to read those labels. So finding new ingredients when I want to create a new dish is very time consuming, because you have all the time shopping, and then you have all the time trying to figure out how to get the textures right, how to make sure that the flavors are there. Right. And so it can be challenging, but it's fun, because when you create these things for people who are so appreciative, and to watch their faces light up when they come in and they try samples of our newer items, they're just always so excited.
So how can we continue to support you? How, for those that are thinking, we'll just go right to the store. Again, the store is not active or not as active as it once was. So
Correct.
if you are heading this way from outside of the Clarksville, Montgomery County area, do call first to make sure that they're open.
Absolutely.
But again, if they're not open here at the store, they have the food truck typically out, you said sometimes 7 days a week.
Absolutely. So you can follow us on Street Food Finder app. That will show all of our locations each month, where we're going to be, what times will be set up. And then our Facebook and our Instagram pages, that will not only detail the same information you can find on Street Food Finder, but it'll tell you what days and times will be open at the storefront here.
That's fantastic. And if you want to hear more about Heather's story, tell us why you're not shy about sharing the struggles and everything that you've been through.
I think it's really important for people to understand that we all struggle. We live in a world where a lot of times people only want to share the good in their life, and for good reason. I don't ever want people to look at me like, oh, she only shares the negative, but I believe in sharing the real, because it's one of the things that when people are struggling, it helps them understand that they're not alone, that other people understand that struggle, and hey, look, like if they were able to come past that, then I know I can do that too. I've faced so much, and I'm not even 40 yet. I am a 19-year recovered addict. I dropped out of high school at 17. And some of them were poor choices that I made. Some of them was just how life ended up. But after facing all that, the one thing I saw was the huge difference the people made. The people that were sent to me in that time of need are people I'll never forget. And they changed my life because it made me want more. It made me want to offer more to the world and make that same difference. And so not only is this a place for people who might not necessarily have a place to go food-wise, if you talk to our customers, they'll tell you this is a place that they go when they need to feel happy. When they need a little bit of extra comfort or understanding, they come to us. And I love that. To me, that's one of my favorite parts about the store and about the food trailer is we know that when people need a pick-me-up, they find us.
That they do. Heather, thank you so much for sharing all of that with me, with us. We do appreciate it.
So we were accepted into a Best Baker competition. It's a nationwide competition. It is tallied by votes from your community, from your customers. And so that starts actually on the 24th of this month. And the grand prize is $10,000, as well as you get an article in a baker's magazine, a 2-page spread.
So that's incredible. Best Baker competition. This is nationwide.
Yes.
Can we vote for you? Those
Yeah.
that love you, how do we vote for you?
Absolutely. I'll give you the link for that. We have the link for that. And again, that'll start on the 24th. And there's a couple different options for that. You can cast one vote free daily, or you can purchase additional votes. And the money that is gathered from those additional votes, it actually is used to go to nonprofit.
That's absolutely amazing. Heather Fassett with Delectable Sweets. I know our vote is behind you for
Thank you.
sure.
I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. All right, stick with us. We have more coming up on This Week in Clarksville right after this.
The West Group at Southwest Funding has a combined 29 plus years of experience in the local mortgage market. It's our top priority to make sure the client is well informed and has a transparent loan process. Our focus is to make your journey to home ownership as seamless as possible. Once you close with the West Group, you are family for life. To become part of the happy West Group family of clients, call 931-266-0013 or visit us at thewestgroupswf.com.
As a busy mom juggling family, errands, and everything life throws at me, I try my best to be environmentally conscious. So of course, I buy flushable wipes thinking I'm doing the right thing. But it turns out flushable wipes aren't actually flushable. I found out the hard way when flushable wipes caused a clog and flooded my house with sewage. It ended up costing me thousands of dollars in damage and a big headache with the insurance company. It's safe to say our family will never flush a flushable wipe again, and instead put them where they belong, in the trash.
Welcome back to This Week in Clarksville. Let's take a look at some of the activities happening around the area this weekend. On Friday, the Clarksville Dance Club is hosting a Hocus Pocus dance from 7 until 10. This will happen at the Down Under at the Pinnacle. So from 7 to 8, Patricia Leffler will be teaching bachata, merengue, rumba, and the waltz. Then from 8 to 10, there will be a costume contest. There will be some door prizes given away. They do ask for all of those coming out that you bring a dish. Tickets to get in, that's $7 per admission. Also happening on Friday night, you have Downtown at Sundown. I do believe this is the last of the concert series. So at 7 o'clock, you can catch Rock United live at Downtown Commons. Some great music there for you and your family. And then on Saturday, you have quite a bit happening. Star Spangled Brewing Co. is hosting its first Beer and Brat 5K to support 2 local veteran organizations. Chapter 38 Special Forces Association, along with the Night Stalker Association. Star Spangled Brewery owner Josh Rowmaker shares with us exactly how the dollars raised will go to benefit those veterans.
And your proceeds are going to be split down the center. So when you pay $50, 25 of it's going to go to Chapter 38. The other 25 of it's going to go to the Night Stalker Association. And the more people we can get signed up, pre-signed up, or sign up day of, at the end of the day, we can present each one of those organizations with a check.
The registration fee for the race is $50. With that registration fee, you do receive a t-shirt, a collectible cup that's filled with beer twice, and a bratwurst. And then also just knowing that you are helping a local veteran in our area. If you would like to register for the race before Saturday, you can do that online. Day of, registration starts at noon at 103 Progress Avenue. Again, that race will kick off at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Also happening on Saturday in the morning, the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center is once again hosting their historic Greenwood Cemetery walking tour. This is from 9 to 10 a.m. For members, it is $15. For non-members, it is $20, and they do like for you to purchase those tickets in advance. Also happening Saturday, you have the Murder and Mayhem Downtown Walking History Tour. This sounds like fun. So this starts at 131 Franklin Street. It lasts about 30 minutes, and this will go from 7 until 7:30. If you do not make it this weekend, you can catch this walking tour next weekend on the 28th. Again, that's from 7 to 7:30. Another event happening on Saturday, it is the Walnut Grove 2022 Community Fall Festival. This will take place at the Walnut Grove Missionary Baptist Church. It runs from 3 in the afternoon till 7 in the evening. You will have a chili contest, you'll have apple cider, and vendors, and so much more. Now let's take a look at a recipe that you can make with the kiddos for Halloween. This one I love. It's super simple. Get peanut butter cookie mix. I like to go pre-made. Some mini Reese's peanut butter cups. Put that right on top after you bake the cookies. Let it melt down a little bit. Get those little googly eyes, and then some chocolate icing for the legs. You see it right there. It's a spider cookie. So tasty, so easy, and just really fun to make. Again, thank you so much for joining us on This Week in Clarksville. I hope you have a blessed Thursday, a wonderful and safe weekend, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of This Week in Clarksville. We'll see you next time.